turn the conversation on to some other topic. Now we've all got to plot and scheme and plan like... Germans, interrupted Mr. Triggs. Splendid, cried Lady Tanagra, clapping her hands. But why has she changed her mind? Asked Mr. Triggs. You must never ask a woman why she changes her frock or why she changes her mind, because she never really knows, said Lady Tanagra. Probably she does it because she hasn't got anything else particular to do at the moment. Ah, here's Peter, she cried. Bowen came forward and shook hands cordially with Mr. Triggs. This is splendid of you, he said. You'll lunch with us, of course? Oh, no, said Mr. Triggs. I just ran in to get to know me, said Lady Tanagra with a smile. Of course, that's it, cried Mr. Triggs, beaming. I can't stop to lunch, though, I'm afraid. I must be going to... Have you got a luncheon engagement? Asked Lady Tanagra. Well, yes. Please don't tell fibs, Mr. Triggs. You're not engaged to lunch with anybody, and you're going to lunch with us, so that's settled. Why, bless my soul, blew Mr. Triggs helplessly as he mopped his head with his handkerchief. Why, bless my soul. It's no good, Mr. Triggs. When Tanagra wants anything, she has it, said Bowen with a laugh. It doesn't matter whether it's the largest pear or the nicest man. Lady Tanagra laughed. Now we'll go down into the dining room. For an hour and a half they talked of Patricia, and at the end of the meal both Lady Tanagra and Bowen knew that they had a firm ally in Mr. Triggs. Don't forget, Mr. Triggs, cried Lady Tanagra as she bade him good-bye in the vestibule. You're a matchmaker now, and you must be very careful. And Mr. Triggs lifted his hat and waved his umbrella as, wreathed in smiles, he trotted towards the revolving doors and out into the street. After he had gone, Lady Tanagra extracted from Bowen a grudging promise of implicit obedience. He must not see, telephone, write or telegraph to Patricia. He was to eliminate himself altogether. But for how long, Tan? He inquired moodily. It may be for years and it may be for ever, cried Lady Tanagra gaily as she buttoned her gloves. Anyhow, it's your only chance. Damn, muttered Bowen under his breath as he watched her disappear. But I'll give it a trial. 2. The next afternoon, as Patricia walked down the steps of number 426 Eaton Square and turned to the left, she was conscious that in spite of the summer sunshine the world was very grey about her. She had not gone 100 yards before Lady Tanagra's grey car slid up beside her. Will you take pity on me, Patricia? I'm at a loose end, cried Lady Tanagra. Patricia turned with a little cry of pleasure. Jump in, cried Lady Tanagra. It's no good refusing a Bowen. Our epidermises are too thick. Or should it be epidermi? Patricia shook her head and laughed as she seated herself beside Lady Tanagra. The car crooned its way up Sloane Street and across into Knightsbridge, Lady Tanagra intent upon her driving. Is it indiscreet to ask where you're taking me? Inquired Patricia with elaborate humility. Lady Tanagra laughed as she jammed on the brake to avoid running into the stern of a motor omnibus. I feel like a pirate today. I want to run away with someone or do something desperate. Have you ever felt like that? A politician's secretary must not encourage such unrespectable instincts, she replied. Lady Tanagra looked at her quickly, noting the flatness of her voice. A wise hen should never brood upon being a hen, she remarked oracularly. Patricia laughed. It is all very well for Dives to tell Lazarus that it is noble to withstand the pangs of hunger, she replied. Now let us go and get tea, said Lady Tanagra, as she turned the car into the road running between Kensington Gardens and Hyde Park. Tea? Cried Patricia. Why, it's past 5. Tea is a panacea for all ills and a liquid for all hours. You have only to visit a government department for proof of that, said Lady Tanagra, as she descended from the car and walked towards the umbrella-sheltered tea-tables dotted about beneath the trees. And now I want to have a talk with you for a few minutes, she said as they seated themselves at an empty table. I feel in the mood for listening, said Patricia. Provided it is not to be good advice, she added. I've been having a serious talk with Peter, said Lady Tanagra. Patricia looked up at her. Overhead, white fleecy clouds played a game of hide and seek with the sunshine. The trees rustled languidly in the breeze, and in the distance a peacock screamed ominously. "I have told him," continued Lady Tanagra, "that I will not have you worried, and he has promised me not to see you, write to you, telephone to you, send you messenger boys, chocolates, flowers, or anything else in the world. In fact, he's out of your way for ever and ever." Patricia looked across at Lady Tanagra in surprise, but said nothing. "I told him," continued Lady Tanagra evenly, "that I would not have my friendship with you spoiled through his impetuous blundering. I think I told him he was suburban. In fact, I quite bullied the poor boy. So now," she added, with the air of one who has earned a lifelong debt of gratitude, "you'll be able to go your way without fear of the ubiquitous Peter." Still Patricia said nothing, as she sat looking down upon the empty plate before her. "Now we will forget all about Peter and talk and think of other things. Ah, here he is!" she cried suddenly. Patricia looked round quickly, but at the sight of Godfrey Elton she was conscious of a feeling of disappointment that she would not, however, admit. Her greeting of Elton was a trifle forced. Patricia was never frank with herself. If it had been suggested that for a moment she hoped that Lady Tanagra's remark referred to Bowen, she would instantly have denied it. "No, Godfrey, don't look at me like that," cried Lady Tanagra. "I am not so gauche as to arrange a partie à trois. I've got someone very nice coming for Patricia." Again Patricia felt herself thrill expectantly. 5 minutes later Mr. Triggs was seen sailing along among the tables as if in search of someone. Again Patricia felt that sense of disappointment she had experienced on the arrival of Godfrey Elton. Suddenly Mr. Triggs saw the party and streamed towards them, waving his red silk handkerchief in one hand and his umbrella in the other. "He has found something better than the fountain of eternal youth," said Elton to Patricia. "Whatever it is, he is unconscious of possessing it," replied Patricia, as she turned to greet Mr. Triggs. "I am late, I know," explained Mr. Triggs as he shook hands. "I had to run in and see Etty and tell her I was coming. It surprised her." And Mr. Triggs chuckled as if at some joke he could not share with the others. "Now let us have tea," said Lady Tanagra. "I am simply dying for it." Mr. Triggs sank down heavily into a basket chair. He looked about anxiously as it creaked beneath his weight, as if in doubt whether or no it would bear him. "All we want now is—" Mr. Triggs stopped suddenly and looked apprehensively at Lady Tanagra. "What is it you want, Mr. Triggs?" enquired Patricia quickly. I forget. I forget," floundered Mr. Triggs, still looking anxiously at Lady Tanagra. "When you're in the company of women, Mr. Triggs, you should never appear to want anything else. It makes an unfavourable impression upon us." "God bless my soul, I don't," cried Mr. Triggs earnestly. "I've been looking forward to this ever since I got your wire yesterday afternoon." "Now he has given me away," cried Lady Tanagra. "How like a man—" "Given you away, me dear?" cried Mr. Triggs anxiously. "What have I done?" "Why, you have told these two people here that I made an assignation with you by telegram." "Made a what, me dear?" enquired Mr. Triggs, his forehead corrugated with anxiety. "Lady Tanagra is taking a mean advantage of the heat, Mr. Triggs," said Elton. "Anyway, I'll forgive you anything, Mr. Triggs, as you have come." Mr. Triggs' brow cleared and he smiled. "Come, I should think I would come," he said. Lady Tanagra then explained her meeting with Mr. Triggs and how he had striven to avoid her company at luncheon on the previous day. Mr. Triggs protested vigorously. During the tea the conversation was entirely in the hands of Lady Tanagra, Elton and Mr. Triggs. Patricia sat silently listening to the others. Several times Lady Tanagra and Mr. Triggs exchanged meaning glances. "Why ain't you talking, my dear?" Mr. Triggs once asked. "I like to hear you all," said Patricia, smiling across at him. "You are all too clever for me," she added. "Me clever!" cried Mr. Triggs, and then, as if the humour of the thing had suddenly struck him, he went off into gurgles of laughter. "You ought to tell Etty that," he spluttered. "She thinks her old father's a fool. Me clever," he repeated, and again he went off into ripples of mirth. "What are your views on love, Mr. Triggs?" demanded Lady Tanagra suddenly. Mr. Triggs gazed at her in surprise. Then he looked from Patricia to Elton, as if not quite sure whether or no he were expected to be serious. If I were you I should decline to reply. Lady Tanagra